Hello, my glute obsessed girlies. By the end of this video, you're going to know the secrets to become a glute dominant girly so you can train intentionally and correctly to engage those glutes. So I used to be a quad dominant girl. I'll show you a before of what my legs looked like. And this was just a no for me. I did not want to be a quad dominant girl. I wanted to be a glute dominant girl with a shelf. Like I wanted that pop and that waist to glute ratio to be big. And I was absolutely determined to get that. I have learned like everything to know over the 8 years of glute building, and my whole entire like theme of my fitness channel is to build the glutes. And then my second goal is calisthenics as well. So I do handstands and body weight functional training for my upper body. But my main goal has always been glute building, and it will always be glute building. So I have sifted through all of the information for you over the last 8 years. So you don't have to do that, and you can just watch this video because I'm going to give you the 5 top tips to glute building. At the end of this video, I'm actually going to have an example of one of my leg days, and they look generally similar every leg day, and they're not like a billion exercises. So they're meant to be effective, short, and tough. Like you should be dying at the end of this leg day. And it's not like so many, I hate when it's like a 10 exercises. I'm like, why are you doing that? But I will show you an example of my leg day at the end of the video. Glute building tip number 1. Every leg day is glute day. You know how people split up like quads and glutes, hamstrings, glutes? I don't do that. Everything is glute focused. Every leg day is glute focused. That is what my goal is, to build the glutes. So that means I'm training glutes all the time, and it is the main focus of every single leg day. I feel like we just have to own what our goals are in the gym. Like I feel like so many people are like, they kind of feel bad about like saying that they just want to grow their legs or they just want to grow their glutes, but like we just have to own it. Like we want to be glute dominant girlies, and this is how it's going to happen. You got to train legs a lot, and your main focus has to be glutes. And the frequency of these leg days is 2 to 3 times a week. The other days you can do cardio, you can do upper body if you want, you can do calisthenics, but leg day, glute day is 2 to 3 times a week. Your muscles need to constantly be stimulated to grow. So you need to be going to the gym often if you really want to get the results and grow your glutes. So this one also leads into my next glute building tip. All of the movements, or majority of the movements on your leg days, are compound movement. And they have to be glute focused compound movement. So that means that every compound exercise is adjusted so you can target your glutes more than other parts of your legs. Yes, a compound exercise is going to also target your quads, your hamstrings, and different parts of your legs, but you could make adjustments to specifically target the glutes and to have the tension on the glutes more. This is like the biggest tip for becoming glute dominant, because you're basically taking that tension away from other muscles and putting it where you want it to be. It does take a while to kind of train your body to do that and to learn how to have that mind muscle connection to your glutes, but it is totally possible. And with the slight adjustments, you will definitely feel it much more in your glutes. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll show you how to make all the compound movements glute focused so you can build as much muscle as you possibly humanly can. For now, I'll actually put in one exercise to show you how I adjust good mornings from being more hamstring focused to glute focused. You can see in the first clip, my feet are face forward and my stance is hip width apart. This is going to target more of the hamstrings because you're going to have more of a stretch in your hamstrings when you go down to the bottom of the movement. In the glute focused good mornings that I do, I have my feet turned outwards a bit and my stance is actually wider. It allows me to get a deeper hinge in the glutes. So you get more into like that hip socket when you're sitting back. When you're hinging, you are stretching that glute more and you're taking the hamstrings more out of it because you're not as like straight up and you're not stretching the hamstrings as much. And like I never do the hamstring good mornings. I'm always doing the glute focus. Everything glute focus. Okay, tip number 3, tempo over weight. I feel like this needs to be said more and it needs to be fully understood because I see it so much on social media. The time and attention that your muscles have is way too fast. Like people are kicking up their cable kickbacks so quickly and they're going up and down on their squats so quickly. And I'm like, you are missing out on so many gains, so much glute gain. And I feel like it's brushed under the rug because it makes the exercise harder and it makes it more intentional. And it means every rep counts. Time under tension works because having the muscles strained for a longer period of time will create more micro tears in your muscles that will trigger the repair and the growth of your muscle fibers. Let's take squats, for example. When you are going down, you're negative. So the negative of every movement, I want it to be 3 to 5 seconds. So when you're going down, count that and you will see how slow it is. You need to control the movement all the way down. You are not just falling down. The negative is the most important part. It's where you build the muscle. So you're controlling 3 to 5 seconds all the way down. When you get to the bottom, hold for 2 seconds. Yeah, you'll feel like you're dying, but hold for 2 seconds and then you power up. So the up is only like 1 second, power. And then you slow 3 to 5 seconds all the way down, hold 2 seconds and power back up. Oh my God, this is life changing. When I started training like this, I saw so much growth in my glutes. It was crazy. Like I started building muscle so much quicker and it also makes like every movement so intentional and every rep like really truly counts. I also feel like this is a great way to learn mind muscle connection because when you're slowing down the movement, you're forced to go lower in weight because you have to control every part of that movement. And you're also forced to really understand like the form and like the movement of your joints and your muscles and how to kind of keep the form throughout the whole movement. It is probably one of the best tips that you can ever do with any exercise that you're doing, either if you're doing like upper body or legs. Like you should always have a long time under tension if you want to build muscle. Okay, tip number 4. Actually understand what exercises build your glutes and put the most mass on. These are compound movements. So these are movements that use more muscles than just a singular muscle. So anything like squats, deadlifts, good mornings, split squats, lunges, like those are all compound movements. They use like your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, everything kind of all together. These are the exercises that are going to build mass. These are what is going to build your muscle. If your workouts are majority isolation exercises, so that means like cable kickbacks, abductions, quad curls, hamstring curls, those are good additionals to your leg day, but they should not be the majority of your leg day. You should have 3 to 4 compound movements, leg compound movements in your leg day, and then 1 to 2 isolation movements. Isolation movements are really good though for fine tuning. So I particularly like them for the upper glute and to like build that little pop because I really want to hit like the glute medius. So a lot of times I do abductions and then I love cable kickbacks because I do think that these are really, really amazing for targeting the glutes and building the glutes. And then sometimes if I'm like, okay, I want to kind of just like work on my quads a little bit more, I will also do like quad curls or hamstring curls to kind of add that isolation in. But those are just like additionals to kind of fine tune your overall legs. But to really, really build mass, you need to be doing compound movements. Okay, and now we're on to our last tip, progressive overload. I feel like you've probably heard this a billion times, but it is the most important thing in the world, in the fitness industry, in the entire world. This means you need to be adding weight every session, or you need to be pushing yourself more. So you need to be getting an extra rep or doing an extra set. So you always need to be pushing yourself and improving. If you're not improving, you are not building muscle. So overall, I need you to be pushing your body to the absolute limit and getting stronger. So what I want you girls to do is to either record your workout in an app or like your notes app. I just do it in my notes app on my phone. Every workout, I'm writing my weight and the amount of reps. And that's for every single set I do, every single exercise, so that the next time when I go to the gym, I look at what I did before and I either use the same weight, get more reps, or I increase the weight. And it could even be small, like even by like 2.5 pounds, 5 pounds, just add a little extra weight on the sides. And that is gonna be life-changing. You're gonna see your strength go up so quickly. And when you're increasing in your strength, you are building the muscle. Your muscles are growing. Also, I need you to understand what failing is. And because failing is super important, and knowing what it means to fail and to what it feels like to fail is incredibly important. Because a lot of the times when I've trained people or trained with people, I notice that they aren't failing. They think they're failing, but they're not. They have like 5 more reps like that they can do. I think it's because when you're new to the gym, you don't really understand like how failing really feels like until you really force yourself to fail. And right now, I can guarantee that whatever weight that you're doing, you can go heavier. It is a lot of the times in our brains that we are like, we can't go heavier, but we can. There's so many people that I see doing hip thrusts with like 25 on each side. I'm like, girl, you can go so much heavier. You got this. Take this away and go and do your leg day and put some more weight on there for me, okay? Okay, so now I'm gonna give you an example of what my leg days look like. The first exercise here is a hip thrust. I love hip thrusts. Hip thrusts are so amazing for building the glutes. They are one of the best exercises. A lot of times I like to actually start with hip thrusts first because you get that really good warm up of the glutes and then they're activated throughout all of your other compound exercises already. Next exercise here is a barbell squat. The way I do a barbell squat here is glute focused, also mobility focused, because I really do care about mobility, my like knee health, my hip health. My glutes are already warmed up from the hip thrust. So when I do a glute focused squat, they're being activated even more. Then the next exercise, we have a RDL. I love RDLs. Barbell RDLs specifically are my fave. This is a glute focused well, every compound exercise here is glute focused, but this is a glute focused RDL. We really want to get that hip hinge movement. Hip hinge movements are so good for building the glutes. I usually always have an RDL movement in my leg days. And the last exercise here is my B stance Smith machine split squats. That is a mouthful. I kind of created this name for this exercise because it is a weird one. It's like a mix between a B stance good morning and a split squat. I originally had my first viral video on Instagram like explaining this movement. It is super amazing for really getting like a deep hip hinge and engaging your glutes. I love doing this movement. It's so good. But yeah, it's another compound movement. So that's 4 compound movements already. And then now we're going to move on to a isolation movement, and that is going to be cable kickbacks. I love my cable kickbacks. I only usually do like 2 sets of them, but I go extremely hard. Time under tension is like so important for cable kickbacks. I don't want you to be kicking them up like super quickly. You really want to hold them and control them. Cable kickbacks is usually my go-to isolation for glute growth. I love it. And then I always do calf raises. Like the amount of influencers that like don't do calf raises, I'm like, why? But I feel like they do. I think they do. We just don't put them in our videos because they're not as fun. But I do calf raises every leg day. Like having nice calves is so important to me. I feel like if you don't have calves and you have legs, it looks crazy. It looks insane. Like you need to have a balanced leg that is glute dominant. That is the goal. So I do train calves like every leg day. And I train them hard because calves are pretty. Okay, so those are my tips to how to become a glute dominant girly. Like this video if you want me to break down the compound movements and how to make them more glute focused. I'd love to do a video like that for you guys. And don't forget to subscribe for more fitness content and what I eat in a days. Everything to do with fitness. Follow me on all my socials. I post a lot on Instagram. I'm like most active on Instagram. So follow me on there, Olivia Hoadley. Okay, I will see you in my next video.